Hello, everyone. My name is Colin Farrell, and I'm here in my kitchen today to talk to the filmmakers, the writer, director, producer, and the actor of a beautiful film called Room Taken that I saw about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and was incredibly moved by and affected by. And I had the chance to blag my way into being an executive producer on the film after the fact. So I'm just coming in to hold on to these lads' coattails and try and get as big an audience for this film because I feel it's really worthy of as many people finding it as can. Um, it's so special, and it's about so much that the world I think needs in spades. I need as a man, as a father, as an actor, um, film stories that have at the center of them a kind of a core sense of compassion and an ability to reach across what could be deemed as cultural divides. Yeah, the film's extraordinary. I'm here with TJ O'Grady Payton, the director. I'm here with Colman McCunna. Did I say it right, Colman?
McCunna.
McCunna, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Thank God. I'll keep my Irish passport for another week. I'm here with Gabriel, who's the lead actor who plays Isaac, and I'm here with Michael, who's the writer of the script Room Taken. And here we go, lads. Just wanted to ask you about the origins of it. I don't know if Michael, it was the genesis of this story was your idea first, or you were talking to TJ about doing something, or if you could talk me through it a little bit.
Yeah, we're mainly like I'm just kind of like I'm a real kind of like daydreamer, so I'm always just like observing things around me, and kind of like just looking at people and trying to put myself in their shoes or see the world through their eyes and things like that. And like one of the kind of main people who inspired the film was my partner's like her grand aunt or her grand aunt or great aunt is a blind woman, and she lives in France, and like we would spend Christmas with her and stuff like that, and we'd all be around the table and stuff like that. But you can still tell she's, even though she's surrounded by everyone, she's still quite lonely. And like I can't communicate with her, and she can't communicate with me because I don't speak French. But there's still those moments where you can kind of build some kind of connection between one another. So I've kind of taken inspiration from that. And then also just in terms of like looking around like the kind of core, I guess, story of the film, and kind of like I guess the catalyst for how Isaac does what he does was just kind of being in I was just kind of on my way to work one day, and I just saw a blind person walking down the street, and behind him was a homeless person. And then you kind of you just kind of imagination started going from there, and then wrote it. And maybe a couple of months later, and then myself and TJ were working on a film or on a commercial together. I work in advertising as a copywriter. And then we just got talking about like projects and stuff like that. I think it might have been early days of COVID or something like that.
Yeah, I had made this commercial with Michael, and I'd always wanted to make a short film under the Focus short film scheme, which is the best short film scheme with Screen Ireland as the funder in Ireland, where they give you more money than you usually get. So I was looking for projects, and I got chatting with Michael after, and I just asked him if he had any scripts, and he sent me Room Taken. And I remember reading it and just thought immediately it was such an amazing concept. But there was one scene when, I won't give spoilers away, but like towards the end when there's like this very emotional moment, and when I was reading it I was super moved, like it was
so moving.
really
I think I know the moment you're speaking of.
Yeah, and like for a short film to make me feel that, I thought with just a few pages of writing, I was like, wow, this has got something going on. And as well, like myself and Michael were kind of dealing with grief in our own ways as well at the time, so maybe it kind of resonated because of that. But we tried to kind of take personal experiences and really try to figure out ways of just making it more dramatic, more suspenseful, more humorous, more emotionally engaging. And over the course of what felt like a couple of years, because it was on and off, we really kind of refined it and then got the funding.
The film's been long listed for the best live action short film.
Yeah.
At the Academy for the Oscars
next year.
So that's why we're trying. Yeah. We're talking now. We're trying to get as much. Yeah, it's exciting that it's been, and you've won. You've taken it to 50 festivals, and you've won 17 awards.
Yeah, I mean 17. Yeah,
you're on the tear.
Exactly.
Yeah, we did. It's been pretty overwhelming the last few months. Like TJ and myself and Michael, and I was at a festival recently with Gabriel as well. We've managed to attend a lot of them, some of them internationally, but we've got to, I think, nearly all of the ones in Ireland, and the reception to it have been, from the audience, has been amazing. No matter what room you're in, you get a different reaction from the crowd. And then what's really amazing is that, at the end of these festivals, we have been really lucky to be to be coming away with some awards, and a lot of them have been audience awards, which
That's
means
beautiful.
because it means
tasty.
Yeah,
it's nice to get a critical nod and all, but to draw the attention and the energy and the engagement of the audience is always, the sweetest touch. It's such a moving and such a kind of it transcends cultural biases. The film, there's such beautiful heart at its center. It's such a compassionate piece of filmmaking, and acting as well, Gabriel, between you and the magic breed, Brennan. It really is. It's so compassionate, and it's not.
Here.
Don't feel that it's asking. I didn't feel watching it that it's asking for the audience. It's not playing to the audience. It's very insular. It's very contained. And I wonder, Gabriel, you approaching this material, I wonder what things drew you to it, in the sense that something in the script was familiar to you and something that you were drawn to and something that you had an immediate kind of reaction of the familiar, or something that you thought more lent into your curiosity that you kind of wanted to unravel. Could you talk about your first reading of it, Gabriel? And because your performance in it, man, honestly, it's so beautiful, and it's so silent as well. I mean, there's not that many words shared, and there's so much. You do so much,
kind, man.
Brother. You do so much with stillness and so much with the depth of your sincerity, that it was extraordinarily moving. So if you could talk a little bit about finding the script and it coming to you, and your process of getting into the skin of Isaac, please.
Yeah, for sure. First of all, thank you so much. Those are incredibly complimentary words coming from you. I'm gonna have to get the recording and get the transcript and keep it somewhere. So thank you.
Text, man. You told me what to say. I'm joking. The first time any of us.
Actually, you missed the line, Colin. I don't mean to get on you about this, but Jesus, no. No. So when it came to me, and I read it for the first time, I knew straight away this was something that I wanted to be involved in. Absolutely, straight away. I mean, a lot of shorts come to you, and shorts are weird, they're wacky, you know what they are. They're a calling card. They're
people trying to make a stamp. You've limited time. You want to make a stamp.
Exactly. They come in so many flavors.
There's something very old-fashioned, very simple to it that allows it to penetrate within a lot of things that might be
straight away. So when it came to me, straight away, I was like, absolutely, this is the 1 in 10 that I actually really, really want to do. And like you say, a lot of that is to do with familiarity and to do with curiosity. So I'm reading the character of Isaac. And first of all, it's really nice to see that it's written for, a Nigerian man. But the sweet thing about it as well is that despite it being written for a Nigerian man, it could almost sort of be anyone in that situation, anyone in that context, anyone who's lonely, anyone who's desperate, anyone who wants to live in better circumstances, anyone who has no choice but to do the things that they have to do. So I read it, and it instantly felt really at home. And I was even given the privilege of being able to make some tweaks, some changes, some translations to bring it closer to home even than it already was. And then obviously it's a dangerous situation. It's high stakes for both of us. If she finds me out, it's messy to say the least. And then I have the context, I have the stakes, I have the reason behind all of it, all those things that are still there despite there being no dialogue. And I felt really attracted in terms of curiosity to seeing how I could do that, to seeing how that would play out for me. And it turned out to be just focusing on the doing, focusing on the individual tasks that I kind of need to get done, the individual goals that I have for each scene, and broadly speaking, across the entire film. So I had a blast with it. It's one of my favorite things that I've done.
That's beautiful, man. You're talking about, and your goal being the singularity of survival,
Yeah. Yes, and absolutely.
Not every human being experiences love, sadly. Not every human being experiences tenderness. Not every human being experiences warmth, comfort. But every human being, if they live long enough, and you don't have to live long into a life, will experience fear, will experience pain, will experience grief, will experience loneliness. It is the more kind of what we would term negative, but they're not really negative, of course, they're just parts of life, but they're more uncomfortable aspects of life that draw us together. And so the most moving thing about the film is the fundamental structure of a woman who is living alone, dealing with grief and isolation and with blindness, Michael, as you were saying, and then this immigrant who is dealing with I'm sure grief is part of his makeup as well. We don't get into it. We don't need to. And Gabriel's performance helps with that. But he's dealing with isolation. He's dealing with loneliness. And so the bringing together of these two seemingly, and that's one of the beautiful tricks about the film, is seemingly so disparate, whether it's by cultural origins or whether it's by age or whether it's by physical abilities or inabilities. Two seemingly such disparate characters find common ground.
Yeah.
And that's singularly for me the most powerful thing about the film, and that's why it makes a film like this, without being over the top, excuse me if I am, but like healing. Films can be healing, pieces of art can be healing, poems can be healing, songs can be healing, and it has that at its core. What is your sense of what's happening now in Ireland, because it's very topical with regards to immigration as well, and people coming into our country who are trying to find a better life and have to be given the opportunity to find safe harbor. But it's an incredibly topical issue as well. It was dealt with so gently by staying away from the politics. What was your journey through integrating that into the film as such a significant aspect of the story?
Yeah, we were very conscious of what was happening in Ireland at the time. There was a lot of things that were going on with like asylum seekers or refugees, and like people living in tents, and there was also quite a lot of tension around that in different parts of the country. So like for us, we were trying to create something that maybe had a positive message or a positive spin on this new kind of, I guess, society that Ireland is becoming. It's becoming a lot more diverse, which is great, and there's going to be people from all over the world entering the country, and different generations are going to have to be neighbors. And like in this film, you have two people from very different parts of the world who are living together under the same roof, albeit they don't know that, or one of them doesn't. But that doesn't mean that they still can't strike a bond and they still can't be friends.
Gabriel, did you talk to any immigrants who are, where were you born, brother? Were you born in Ireland or were you born elsewhere?
I was actually born in Nigeria, so I'm an immigrant myself. Very technically speaking.
Yeah.
So this wasn't it wasn't a strange thing to embody. I'm an immigrant. I have friends who are immigrants. My parents would have lived something akin to this reality. I mean, I don't think any of them did quite the same actions Isaac took quite the same actions Isaac took, but they would have felt a lot of the same things. They would have felt a lot of the same vulnerabilities. They would have felt a lot of the same sort of stakes, particularly when it comes to the space to be human and to do things that are sometimes wrong, but still have space to be forgiven for it, particularly depending on the context. You know what I mean? That's a difficult conversation to have when your presence, your existence in a certain place hangs by what can feel like a thread. And I think, like you say, the key thing to sort of like drill into that I found really beautiful in the film and to hold on to in the performance was that if you forget a lot of the politics, forget a lot of the commotion that happens around the topic, and if you kind of just focus on the humanity of the situation, I think a lot of us could end up leading better lives with each other. I'm lonely, you're lonely. There's got to be a solution in there somewhere.
100%.
Between the two of us.
It's amazing. I think if any of us come out of a film and we look at the world in a different way, and that way is leaning towards light, towards positive, towards a greater sense of compassion, forgiveness, understanding, curiosity, even being okay with uncertainty and leaning into it because you want to unearth what that thing you're uncertain about is so you can know more about it. And this film does that. I'm not saying that people are going to see this film and run up to an immigrant on the street and ask them if you can fix their window. But, if they just have a short little gap of pause, and their mind doesn't quickly go to the place of judgment, perhaps half a second, the way it would have before. I mean, that's monumental. And I think that's the potential that exists at the heart of this film,
Thank you so much.
That's amazing, Colin. Colin, just to ask you a quick question as well. First off, we appreciate your time so much, and we appreciate you becoming an executive producer. Like, it's mind blowing to have this chat, and even to get the film in front of you. It's been we've been so giddy about the entire thing. But why did you want to come on board?
We're reactionary creatures, and you have to be careful. There's a time to be there's a time in life to be aggressive. There's a time to bang the drum. There's a time to be really stridently vocal even. But we have to be careful with that because the world is full of aggression. It's full of stridency. It's full, you know, and to get messages across sometimes, the best way to get them across, if you can find a person's ear leaning in, or you can find the eyes, locating a screen, is to do it in whispers. Is to do it in not making it like this is an apolitical film. And yet it has at its center something that is as politically heated as the moment as the issue of immigration. That in itself is really beautiful. It's an apolitical film that has as one of the fundamental cornerstones of its story one of the biggest issues that face modern society, and actually has faced the human experience since we've been around, which is immigration. We are a migratory species. We have to move to survive sometimes. And political shortfallings and cruelty and civil unrest quicken that. But it's an apolitical film. It's a film about, as I said, about grief and about loneliness and about reaching out across the cultural divide and about forgiveness. I mean, I'm sure Gabriel has to forgive himself while he's in the act of committing something he knows he shouldn't be committing. That in itself is loaded. I think the film, as I said, at the center of it is just a massive amount of compassion and understanding, and we need more of that. So that's why thanks a million for letting me be part of this.
Thanks so
You're a
much
legend, man.
Thanks for being there, man.
It, dude.
No,
That's
for
unreal.
sure.
Thank you for taking the time to meet us today and have this conversation, because it means so much to us.
Thanks. Well, me too. I'm really excited for you, and hopefully I'll see you over here at some point. Come here. Listen. Good luck, Gabriel,
Anyway,
Michael, TJ, Colman.
Thanks
a million.
Thanks so much, man. Thanks for making the time.
No,
Take care of yourself.
All the best.
You too. All the best, lads.
Thanks a million. Take care.